was another one of those evenings. Time was moving way too slow, and the people in the street below me were moving way too fast, scurrying to get home to their meaningless lives, leaving their meaningless professions behind for another day. I've got a profession. I'm a dick, and a good one too. Max Poser, private investigator. A sleazy city like this needs a good dick just to keep the losers in line. She came to see me that afternoon. She had a great pair of legs. I never forget a great pair of legs. This dame had unforgettable legs. She had the kind of legs that started at the floor and came up to make a perfect ass of themselves. The dame lit up a cigarette. I wanted to tell her about the dangers of second-hand smoke, but she must have read my mind. She'd already ground out her smoke at my Tabriz Persian carpet. She was a rich dame, inheritance rich. She said her father had made his fortune selling works of art confiscated after the war. She said somebody was blackmailing her to get the fortune her father had left her. Might be the butler, might be the maid. It's usually the butler. She said she'd gotten threats lately. The dame feared for her life. She needed my help. I told her I was here to help. Max Poser was the man for the job. I took her money. It would help with the bills. I told her it wouldn't be easy. I'd have to do a lot of digging to get to the bottom of this. She told me money was no problem. You gotta love a rich dame, especially if she's got great legs. And this skirt had unforgettable legs. A couple of days went by and I was hard at work, digging into her past. The telephone rang. It was the dame. She said she was being followed. She said somebody in a 37 Chrysler was tailing her. She was afraid. I wanted to tell her that cell phones wouldn't be invented for another 20 years, but I let it slide. I told her to relax. She described an olive-drab Chrysler Airflow. She thought it was a 37. The dame told me she saw that car everywhere she went. I told her not to panic. I told her I'd look into it. Then I heard a scream. The phone went dead. There was no time to lose. I turned off the radio. I never did like that post-war jazz crap. I had to find that car. I recalled what the dame had told me on the telephone. It was an olive-drab 1937 Chrysler Airflow with 50-inch seats and lifeguard tires with overdrive and a 323.5 cubic inch straight 8 with double overhead cams. The left rear bumper sagged a bit and the license plate said DCT 1954. It wasn't much to go on, but the car I was tailing might just be the one. When I found her, the dame was okay, but I could tell she was shook up. I felt sorry for her. I took her to her place. I made her pay for the gas. Gas isn't cheap anymore at 29 cents a gallon. She lived in the ritzy side of town. The only shabby people I saw was the flower lady and me. I decided it was time to begin the investigation. We went into the dame's apartment, and the place was empty. The maid and the butler were gone. I suspected the maid and the butler. The maid and the butler came sneaking in behind us. I thought that was suspicious. Then that sweet old flower lady came and gave some flowers to the dame. She said she heard there had been trouble. She was a sweet old flower lady. I had to question the maid. The maid told me she'd been at the store buying a cigarette lighter. I asked her if she smoked. She said no. She said she wanted the lighter in case she ever decided to start smoking. After speaking with the maid, I decided to confront the butler. I asked him to explain his whereabouts. He told me he had been at the laundromat washing his socks. I asked him where his laundry bundle was. He said he didn't have one. I asked him where his laundered socks were. He said he was wearing them. I wanted to believe his story. I apologized to the maid and the butler. I told them I was just doing my job. It looked to me like they both had ironclad alibis. That left me with only one suspect. I had to talk to the sweet old flower lady. I asked her if she'd ever sold any beta vulgaris or trifolium potensi to her customers. She wasn't familiar with those terms. She didn't know what Semapis alba was either. I began to suspect she wasn't a flower lady at all. Just a sweet old lady. I was beginning to get the picture. I had a hunch. I was on to something. It was a gut feeling. I told the dame goodbye and hit the street. I had to tell the sweet old lady who wasn't really a flower lady. I remembered that the old lady had walked over from across the street when I arrived with the dame. Where did she come from? What was she doing across the street? She started to break down under interrogation. I smelled a rat. Then I saw the car across the street, the same one that kidnapped the dame. That's where the old lady came from. And to make matters worse, it wasn't even a Chrysler. It was a DeSoto. The old lady knew the jig was up. She was busted. I had figured it all out. This was no sweet old flower lady. She might have been old, but she wasn't even sweet, and she wasn't even a lady. This was Hermann Goering in drag, the rich dame's father's connection to the stolen artworks after the war. She wasn't about to go quietly. There goes one more crook down the drain. She was road pizza. That was it. The case was solved. The crook was dead. But I had a feeling inside of me I couldn't shake. I was empty. I needed something. And I knew what it was. It was those legs. I couldn't shake it. I had to have those legs.